welcome into another episode of the Pain and Panic Podcast. Adam Sheets, Chris Reynolds. It's been a fun week. Midterm elections happened
Woo!
this week, and for us to honor the midterm elections that went on around the United States of America, we're going to do our own midterm votes. Some different awards, though. We're not doing the main awards. We did that a couple weeks ago. You can go check that out, but we're going to change it up a little bit. Some awards we made up here for us to look at. But coming off a Thursday night football game that was as entertaining as it gets. 10-7.
Yeah.
The Broncos beat the Raiders tonight in what felt like another Broncos game. Just an endless pattern of Broncos games, it feels like. This time didn't have the fourth quarter fireworks from Bo Nix, but really felt, if you're looking for a comparison, they played this exact game against the Jets in London and won 13-11.
Yeah, the Broncos are really doing a great job of playing down to their competition. That's something you want to do, but they do it better than anyone, no matter who they're playing. They played terrible for the first three quarters. Now, against the Raiders, they tied it in the third, and in the fourth quarter, get the field goal, and the Raiders just had a great start. After that first drive, one of the offensive linemen goes down, and then they turn back to the old Raiders. No offensive line. Geno was sacked 5 times in the first half, which is crazy. Second half, Geno got dinged up. He was limping around out there. The defense, held on pretty strong. They had some plays, but you only allowed 10 points, so it's not on you. Their defense looked pretty good. Their offensive line is bad. Genti had some momentum in the beginning. He kind of just kept getting, contained. And then Geno Smith, as we talked about, I don't know if it's him or if it's the whole team or the offensive line, but that offense is just disgusting to watch.
Well, today I'm not going to blame him. Poor guy was out there just grinding out there.
Yeah.
The Broncos defense is legit. They lead the league in sacks for a reason, and they got after him today. The offensive line, they were missing 3 starters up front today were the Raiders, and it showed. He had 0 time back there, and then he got dinged up, and then poor that third down play right before they ended up missing the field goal. Hey, it's all out blitz, and that poor man on one leg's just hopping back and saying, "Yeah, this ain't worth," and just threw it away. So you kind of felt bad for him after a little bit, but it's a boring game, and every time I watch these games, I end up coming back and saying, "Are the Broncos good? Like, they're 8-2, but are they good?" Like, it's just every week, it's like, what are we doing, guys? Like, just play a game. Like, they choose to play like one quarter, like the Jets game last week against the Texans, the first 3 quarters against the Giants. Initially I said they were going to have a losing record, not make the playoffs. I've come back off that. I thought they were good. But then every time I watch them, like, you can't tell me this team's good. So I have no idea. The Broncos continue to amaze me. So
the Broncos are like a classic, like a team that just won the Super Bowl, has a lot of talent, and is kind of just like trying to like do the on-off switch and just turn it on in the fourth quarter. However, the Broncos did not just win the Super Bowl.
They've never won they haven't won a playoff game.
They haven't won a playoff game. So I don't know where this overconfidence comes from of them just going to be able to turn the switch on in the fourth quarter. I don't think they're trying to be terrible for 3 quarters, but I don't know what the problem is. And Sean Payton, Bo Nix had a great chemistry last year, figured things out, really were clicking by the end of the season. And this year they haven't been able to get on the same page. I think their offense, if anything, is better. They have a better run game now, a little bit. And they're playing the Raiders, whose defense has been terrible all season. And I think the Raiders defense, there is the worst of the worst of Cincinnati. Dallas is probably that. But then the Raiders just a normal bad defense.
Mm-hmm.
Teams have been able to throw and run on them. And the Broncos just can't do anything. It's so weird. They have an offensive team and they can't do it. I don't know what's wrong with them. I really don't. And like you said, we've talked a lot about the Broncos. The record does not mean that they're actually an 8-2 team, even though that they're that, like, the record says that. That's not actually how good they are. They're playing more like a 500 team that's gotten lucky bounces. And, sometimes they do go down and win the game in the fourth, but it shouldn't be that close. And I don't think the real playoff teams, don't let this happen.
Their fans have talked themselves into a corner because this is exactly what said. The Chiefs aren't that good. They said this last year. Chiefs aren't that good. Now they're exactly the Kansas City Chiefs from last year, just getting bounces and blocked kicks. They had a blocked punt today that set up the field goal to win the game. It's
my point. Like, the Chiefs were coming off 2 Super Bowl wins, and they believed they could just turn it on in the playoffs for the fourth quarter to get the dub. And honestly, that's not the mentality you want to have, but you kind of, deserve that when you've won twice. We know what you can do. We haven't seen this from the Broncos. So I don't know why they're I mean, I think the Packers do this a little bit too, where they just have a terrible first half. It seems like every game.
Yeah. The one thing, they have their Super Bowl next week, the Broncos. So we'll find out. They play Chiefs next week at home. So
Yes.
that's going to be their big game. Chiefs coming off a bye. Going to be a long week for the Broncos. They have a weird game where they play that Chiefs game. They're only going to play one game in the next 23 days. Because they have a bye after it. They have a mini bye this week. So that actually schedule works out for them here to get healthy, get ready for that Chiefs game, and then a long break after it so you don't have a hangover after if you're able to get the win or a loss either way. So we'll see. I mean, they're 8-2. They're in a really good spot in the division. They're 3 games up on, or about 2.5 games, I believe, up on Kansas City. They're a couple games up on the Chargers, too. So they're in a good spot. But again, it's
And
just every
you
week.
you could say was maybe like they're looking ahead to the Chiefs next week, and that's why, shorter week, not fully, prepared for this Raiders team, but 10 points, man. And 3 of those literally just came from that blocked punt. Your offense did nothing. You blocked the punt, got the ball at like the 2, and they still couldn't score.
Yeah, but this isn't the first time they've done this either. That's why I'm not
I
giving them
know,
a pass.
I know,
They
but
do this
I
a
mean,
lot. They do this like
like,
Bo
at
Nix.
least
Like Bo Nix said after the Texans game, like, how do you get the offense working? He goes, how about we start by not playing the number one defense in the league? Well, the Raiders
I
aren't the
was
number
gonna
one
say,
defense in the
like, the
league.
Raiders have the bad defense, so this doesn't make sense. They're honestly the Texans defense might be the best defense in the league. Just their
hmm
offense is so bad, the defense is always out there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just one of those. I mean, the Prince and the Jags hung 30 on this Raider team last week. I mean, it's interesting. And they were trying to give points away. I watched that whole game. They were trying to give points away to the Raiders. So that's interesting. I mean, you're 8-2. So right now you pretty much have clinched a playoff spot, barring you basically losing out. So you're going to be in the postseason. So we'll see if they continue to
Yeah.
get better. Now it's just about positioning yourself in there. If you're Denver, they have a chance of the 1 seed. Like
I was gonna say, you're fighting for the 1 seed. Only 2
Yep.
losses. I think they're gonna be, after this week, they're gonna be tied with anyone else. So
Yeah. Now the schedule, I believe the schedule gets a lot tougher for them here to finish the year. I'm pulling it up here now. But I thought at the beginning of the year I looked at it, they had an easy start, and then it really heats up for them. They get Chiefs, at Commanders, at Raiders. I mean, that's obviously not an easy game anymore with the way they played today.
I mean, only one of those games should be difficult against the Chiefs.
Yeah. Packers,
Yeah.
Jags, at Chiefs, and then Chargers at home. So it does get a little tougher.
I think 2 Chiefs games are, clearly tough, and then the rest you can kind of tuck yourself into.
Yeah,
And try to still win against the Chiefs. It's not that bad.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're only beating the Raiders 10-7, I'm not going to say you're going to pencil it, go to Vegas and dominate them. I'm not going to pencil that in anymore with this team. I mean, they're going to play down to the game's going to be close in the fourth quarter. So now you're talking about bounces.
A lot of divisional games in there too, which is important.
Yeah, so. Yeah, they play 5 division games, 4 division games. They already played 2, so they have 4 division games left. So a lot of them, lot to go for the Broncos here, but they're in a good spot. They are in a very good spot. But now we're going to get into, as we said, midterm awards this week. Chris, we have a lot of them to get into. We're going to have some fun with this. So, like I said, we're not doing the official. We're not doing MVP, Defense Player of the Year, all that. We did that earlier. So we've made some up. So we're going to start, Chris, with Team of the Year. Chris, who is your Team of the Year?
This is tough timing, coming off a loss. But the Indianapolis Colts, the surprise team of the year, and they've actually played, I think, the best consistent football. Their only bad week was last week. And, I think every team has had at least one loss like that, so I'll allow it. Daniel Jones has come in. He's been a phenomenal quarterback. Who would have thought? An aberration at quarterback. And then you have Jonathan Taylor. We know he was very talented. Seems like he's finally in the perfect situation. He's just exploding this year. Tyler Warren, we talked about all season how great he was going to be, how great he's been, and how great he's going to do. Michael Pittman's been a great receiver. I was saying before this year in fantasy football, don't take him because he's a great receiver in a bad situation. Turns out he's just a great receiver in a great situation. They've been great, and now they just traded for Sauce Gardner. I think that's going to help them going forward. Dan, we could talk a little bit about the trade deadline later, but they were probably the biggest splash. 2 first-round picks and A.D. Mitchell for Sauce Gardner helps their biggest weakness, probably an overpay, but going into the playoffs, they know, this is our one weakness. We're going to overpay for it. This is our chance to go all in because next year, probably not going to be as good of a chance.
Well, you've also kind of locked up that Daniel Jones is getting a big extension here at the end of the year because you trade away 2 first-round picks. He's your quarterback now. That's basically what you're saying is he's the quarterback. So,
but this year you don't have to pay him really anything. So this is kind of their best chance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
next year you got to unload it though, and you basically said if this doesn't work out, like if this thing, if he does turn into a pumpkin and this thing kind of falls off the cliff, you've kind of now gave away all your draft capital for the future to even try to go get someone new. So they bought into Daniel Jones. We'll see. We'll see.
I think that's fine. But I do think the main problem is, like, I don't think they really had to give up 2 firsts and their second round pick that they just made for Sauce Gardner. It seemed like a lot. I know everyone's kind of saying that, but like, it is true. But I think when you look at it, like, okay, if you think you have a real chance to like make a real playoff run and then get a few things go your way, I'm not gonna kill you. And Sauce Gardner, when he's playing his best, is one of the best cornerbacks.
Well, he hasn't played his best in a while though. It's been a long
I
time.
think when you're a cornerback on the Jets and you win 1 game a year or 2 games, this year they've won 1 game. Like, it's hard to really put your best foot forward every single week, and I know that's kind of terrible, but it is discouraging every week going out there and losing. So maybe you can talk yourself into a better situation. He goes from the 6th best corner back to like the number 3rd best corner or something like that.
I have my hesitations about Sauce Gardner. Ever since Bob Saleh left, he hasn't been the same guy. Even last year, when they were even trying to start at the beginning of the year, hasn't been the same guy.
They've been in a weird dysfunctional state for a while. I think the Jets, though, great job by them. They're gonna retool again, get a lot of good pieces, not be able to get the quarterback, and then have to tank again. And Quinton Williams, I mean, the Cowboys were like, we don't want Micah. All we need are defensive tackles who can stop the run. They have tripled down on that mentality now. I think that's amazing.
Do we need to talk about the dumbest franchise in the National Football League?
I just think the fact that they were like, not only do we need to stop the run, so we're going to trade Micah for Kenny Clark, but then we're going to trade some of those picks we got back for another defensive tackle to stop the run. And Quinton Williams getting a little older, probably was a little bit of a decline last few years, and they're like, okay, we'll give you some picks, we'll get him in here, and we'll probably finish the season, 7-10.
Yeah, they're a bad team. They're a bad team. That's all you have to know about them. So, and by the way, they won't finish the year 7-10. They already have a tie, so it's impossible for them to finish 7-10. They have a tie. So
fine, Adams.
6-10-1 is on the table. Or 7-9-1. We're 7.
I think most teams would either win the Super Bowl or be as bad as possible, so that they're bad enough to try to win the Super Bowl again. The Cowboys just need to be like okay, and they will dominate all the sports talk. And I think that's Jerry's number 1 priority. And that's bad, but I mean, honestly, I think it was a decent trade in a vacuum. But when you look at it, of you just trade away Micah, why are you then buying guys at the deadline when you just trade away your best player and got picks? I just don't really understand. But
he's a bad owner, and they've got bad ownership. That's just how it is. And
I know, and I mean, yeah, that's true.
Someone made a good point. They said they're trying to compete with the Eagles, right? And they're trying to make these moves to compete with the Eagles. You are closer to the Jets than you are the Eagles right now. The Cowboys got to realize that. And the sooner they do, the sooner maybe they'll be able to get out of this. But when they keep messing around the way they are,
they just can't bottom out like these other teams, because Jerry doesn't want to do that when he's, towards the end of his ownership time.
Cool. You're the Chicago Bulls. You were cool in the 90s, and now you're a middling team. Welcome to the Chicago Bulls of the NFL, Dallas.
But I don't think the Bulls are going to be talked about the same way Dallas is. So I think,
because they don't sell Kool-Aid and, pretend they're good when they're not. They're just average, and they're okay with that.
And then last thing, we want to touch on the trade deadline. Saints trade away Rashid Shaheed. I mean, that one hurt. That one hurt a little bit.
All the games you watched him play this year, now you're going to be upset that they traded a guy?
Last year, watched him light up teams to start the year. Now he's going back with Kubiak in Seattle, the offensive coordinator. And now, I know he's going to be great in Seattle. And people are like, wow, he was a steal. And I know the Saints got decent stuff back for him, but it's like, he's good. He was a free agent at the end of the year. It made sense to get rid of him because he's not going to want to come back. But like Trevor Penning, when he was traded, I was like, good. He was bad. No one seemed to like him. That's fine. He was a bust. Rashid Shaheed hurt because he was just a fun guy. I mean, there were like any of the thing you read about like any Saints recap or offseason stuff is saying how Rashid Shaheed like is basically like Olave. You know what I mean? They're both like great receivers. I know Olave was a first round pick and he's been good, but like Rashid Shaheed has moments where he looks great. It's just been terrible situations. So Congrats to the Seahawks. They now have one of the best deep threats to go along with JSN. He could probably go to the slot like he's used to, or they could still move him around. But now you have like more options. I think
And
that's
Cooper Cup's still there too.
sure,
Cooper Cup's still there too.
sure, yeah, maybe.
You need to go route runner underneath on third down to check the ball down too.
I think his best attribute is blocking at the receiver position. Hell of a blocker.
You need that. You need those guys. I'm surprised you want to talk about Rashid Shaheed and don't want to talk about your favorite receiver, Jacoby Myers, going to a team that's contending for a playoff spot. But I mean,
my thing about Jacoby Myers was that was like a 3-week trade. Like they were like, we need him. Well, Travis is gone. Well, Brian Thomas is hurt. We'll have him kind of try to keep us afloat at the receiver position. But like, I think Rashid Shaheed could actually be in Seattle for a long time as an impactful deep threat. I think Jacoby's like a rental of we have been depleted at the receiver position these last few weeks.
But would you rather be scoring 7 points in Denver or living in Jacksonville, Florida?
I think it's great for Jacoby. I mean, Adam, you could talk more about the Jags, but like
beautiful trade.
I have oddly been Jacoby's #1 fan since freshman year of college. I thought he was always going to be. I thought he was good at the Patriots. He just didn't get in the end zone, and then I was like, "It's going to happen. It's going to happen." He finally scored a touchdown, and he's been decent. He's been actually a good receiver. He's in a better situation, and I think he can catch the ball. The Jags sometimes have problems catching the ball.
They need that. They do need that. They need guys who can catch the ball. It's gonna be good for them.
The Jaguars, honestly, their hardest part about football is having quarterback throw the receiver the ball, and then when it's actually thrown to the receiver, having them catch the ball. It's really simple. It's like
they lead the league in drops. They do.
It's just catch outside with your dad. I don't know what happened. Like simple game. They just couldn't really do.
Yeah, but they're 5-3. Crazy. After all that, they're 5-3. They must be pretty good down there. No, crazy.
We'll see.
I mean, if they're that bad, if they can't do the basic stuff and they're still winning games, oh boy, imagine if they get that down. Oh, all right. But mine, as that you really went off topic because you had to talk about your pick was the Colts.
I realized we didn't have a trade deadline thing in there, so it kind of just kept going down. Trade deadline.
Your pick was the Colts. My team of the year. No, I'm not gonna go with the Colts. How about the Seattle Seahawks?
Yeah.
Seahawks up there in Seattle, they're 6-2. 2 losses. I mean, you talk about if you want good losses, they have good losses. They lost to the Niners 17-13 when the Niners were healthy at the beginning of the year. Yep, week 1, so you kind of get the pass, like, all right. They lost 38
Darnold's first game.
Yep, Darnold's first game there. And then they lose 38-35 to the Bucs at home. That's a shootout, can go either way. 2 NFC foes slinging it. Two quarterbacks used to be teammates in Carolina, slinging it against each other was a fun game to watch. Ever since they've been really good. What they just did to the Commanders on Sunday night, just annihilated them. Sam Darnold playing a nearly perfect football game. They have maybe the breakout player of the year. We'll get into that later. Jackson Smith-Njigba, who's just a stud, maybe one of the best receivers in the league. Statistically is the best receiver in the league right now. He's been sensational. They have a way to run the ball. Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet can still get it done on the ground. Their defense is good. Mike McDonald in his second year doing a lot of really good things for Seattle. So I think the Seahawks, I mean, they're a legit threat, and they've kind of, the Vikings gave up on Sam Darnold. They went in, they bought back in with them, and it's really paid off here through 8 weeks, and the Seahawks are in good position. They're in a race with the Rams right now. They get the Rams twice here to finish the year for a chance maybe to steal the division and get home. Potentially, they're in the 1-seed race too with Tampa and, Philly and Green Bay. They're right there with those teams as well.
Yeah, no, the Seahawks have been everyone's kind of like, oh, they're good, but they've never really taken the spotlight. They've always been the dark horse of the season, under the radar a little bit. Here's the problem now. They just had a primetime game. They demolished the Commanders as we talked about. This league, we see that whatever team or player starts to emerge as like the new love team that everyone just seems to just jump on, that just luck does not go their way. See what happened to the Packers after the first 2 weeks? Then they lost to the Browns. We saw with the Chargers, then they just got injuries galore. They lost to the Giants. And I feel like that's going to... the Chiefs, we were all starting to hop back on, and they lose to the Bills. And we just have this problem where whichever team we're really vibing with, they just tend to have a bad loss the moment we finally buy in. But I think the Seahawks, people are starting to come around on them. They're emerging as maybe a Super Bowl contender, like a legitimate, like, why not them in the NFC? So I like the pick. I want to see the second half of the year when they're more being the hunted instead of the hunters. We'll see. Darnold should be getting better every single week with this team. I like Rashid Shaheed a lot. And JSN has been his stats have been like impossible to keep up, so I think it was a good thing for them to finally get him some help.
Yeah, they're really good. They're really good. A little rude for you to say, well, we got to wait and see the second half of the season for the Seahawks, but the Colts, just chuck them in there. Yeah, Colts are
Well,
fine, but the
here's
Seahawks got to
my
fight.
issue with the Seahawks, Adam. Um, they are like I look at Sam Darnold, and I just like have never believed in it until last year. Whereas Daniel Jones on the Giants, I always believed he could be good in the right situation. So that's just me watching all these Giants games and being like, he had that one playoff win. Like I always just
What
thought
do you do
Daniel,
in the next playoff game?
really good team he went up against the Eagles.
He lost 42-7.
They lost to the Eagles team that went to the Super Bowl. But like I always thought Daniel Jones could be good in the right spot. Darnold is just if he just changed his name and just like the beard helps change his look. But when I hear Sam Darnold there, it's always gonna in my back of my head. I'm just gonna have trust issues. I think that's the problem for me.
Plus, that year they won a playoff game. Daniel Jones threw for like 12 touchdowns that year.
Adam, he was impactful.
Huh, yeah. Saquon Barkley was impactful. Daniel
He
Jones was
handed the
there for the
ball off
ride.
so well.
Yeah. You believe in that guy? That's all he's doing in Indy too. He's just handed the ball to Jonathan Taylor. That's all they need him to do.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
Chris.
exactly true.
All right, Chris. Now we'll go to disappointing team. Who's your disappointing team?
I don't really want to do a lot of this list based on injuries because, that could, dictate any discussion. But this team I really did have high hopes for, and one injury kind of ruined it. It's the Cincinnati Bengals. They were actually won in the first 2 weeks. They were like, hey, we got off to a terrible slow start every year. We're going to come out and actually up to a good start because the year before this, they were the most exciting offense. The defense was terrible. And they were like, next year we're going to be better. We're going to make the playoffs. I was all in. I was like, I want to see this team really do well. And they finally get off to a good start. And then Joe Burrow gets hurt. Jake Browning was terrible for a stretch. Flacco comes in, wins his first start against Rodgers. And then...
Well, second start. First start was against the Packers.
Sure. His second start against the season for the Bengals. And then you're like, oh, they found something. Here we go. And in the last 2 weeks, they're scoring a ton of points, but their defense is so bad still. They lose to the Bears when they pulled off a miraculous comeback, and then the Bears just have this crazy touchdown to where the Bengals cannot tackle Colson Loveland. And then before that was the Jets one. Was just terrible. Breece Hall throws the game-winning touchdown. Just crazy nonsense for the Bengals. I thought they would be better. I thought we'd see Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase lighting it up again, but this time the team would maybe go 10-7. We'd see them in the playoffs be like a fun offense, terrible defense team, but can't even get that because the Joe Burrow injury.
Yeah. I'm not going to call him disappointing because Joe Burrow got hurt. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
But even with Flacco, they're scoring points at him,
they're scoring points.
They can't stop anyone.
That's the worst thing that can happen to them is that they're scoring points.
Flacco's scoring more points than Burrow has. So honestly, it wasn't even the Burrow injury that's disappointing. It's that
here's the problem. Joe Burrow's out, which means he ain't making a run. So what's the best thing that can happen to a team that's not going to make a run?
They tank and they're terrible.
Exactly. And there's this really good guy. Don't know if you've ever heard of him. His name's Caleb Downs. He plays football in the state of Ohio. Maybe the best safety prospect we've ever seen in the history of the sport. He could be right there for you, but you're too good now, so you ain't getting him.
Different idea. They tank next year, get Jeremiah Smith, and they have the greatest offense ever.
Yeah.
No defense, though.
Yeah, Jeremiah's one of those three would kill each other in that locker room by the end of the year. But yeah, sure. There's only one ball, guys. There's only one ball, and
I just believe their defense had to be better from last year, just by the fact that it was so bad last year, and it really has been just as bad.
Yep. For me, I don't know if I can call this disappointing because I did not think they were going to be as good as maybe a lot of people thought after their year last year. But I got the Washington Commanders. They were disappointing to me before the season even started because they built the oldest team in the NFL around what you would think you'd want a young nucleus to build around when you have a really young quarterback in Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels' injury bug rears his ugly head once again. Kind of a concern for him coming out of college was the injuries because of how small he was and how he'd be able to hold up in an NFL season. We're seeing that really hurt. Gets hurt in a throwaway play at the end of the game down near the goal line when they were down big to Seattle. He had injuries early in the year as well. They had the awful loss to the Packers in week 2 where they just did not look good. I mean, they haven't looked great. And, the quarterback injury, of course, is a big concern here as well. But just everything building around the Terry McLaurin situation before the season, the Debo trade. Like, there's just so many things. They traded Brian Robinson Jr. before the season that took a guy out of their running back room. So, yeah, I haven't really loved everything I've seen from Washington. It's been kind of disappointing to see a team that was in the NFC Championship game last year take such a step back. It feels like they're having the Super Bowl hangover and they didn't even get there.
I agree with you, but I also don't think I was super high in the Commanders. But
Oh, neither was I. Yeah.
so it's not. I don't really think we're disappointed in terms of like the Commanders' team success this year, but more so just the overall vibe of this. You had this fun thing that looked like it was ascending that overachieved last year, and you wanted just to see still that same vibe and sign of life. And I think what's disappointing is like it's all going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Daniels has gotten hurt. What's this now? Third time this season. This one by far the worst. That was terrible. Eckler starts the year by tearing his Achilles, and then you talk about the age. That's part of it, but also it's Jaden Daniels, injury-prone guy, and some of it's just freak injury stuff. And just the vibes have been terrible. Terry McLaurin starts the year off with the contract problems. Then he has the injury. He's played like 3 or 4 games this year, and he looks okay in them. Then he just keeps getting hurt. He's probably just going to end up missing the rest of the season because what's the point of even playing him? Vibes are terrible there. And I think that's more so the problem rather than the fact that, like, if the Commanders went to the playoffs also in the first or second round, I wouldn't care even if they missed the playoffs. It's not really about the outcome. It's more of the feeling, and I agree with you.
Yeah, so here's also my thought. Has the contract dispute ever worked out for anybody? It always works out for the players because they get paid. Why don't they just pay them right away? Because they always end up paying them. What's the point of waiting at this point?
So I heard the other day on the Bill Simmons podcast, they're saying anytime there's any contract dispute, they're like, anytime there's a contract dispute, like the player always has like a bad season and messed up the whole vibe. Last year, Jamar Chase had a contract dispute. He didn't play week 1. He still won the Triple Crown. Sometimes it works. Alvin Kamara, that year he had the 6 touchdowns on Christmas, started the year with a contract dispute. And I remember I didn't draft him in fantasy. I was all concerned. And then he had like one of the greatest seasons. Sometimes it works. It never works for the team, I will say. Like the team always kind of ends up trading the guy, franchise tagging the guy, or they have to sign him to that gigantic deal. I don't know why they don't just give in sooner and then have a normal season, because there are a lot of times the guys are late to training practice.
Mm-hmm.
They show up late to the off-season stuff, and then they either get hurt or just get a slow start to the year. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes there's just a Jamar Chase who's like, all right, I missed week 1 because I was getting my money. Now I'm here, and I'm going to prove it. And he did prove it. Other times you get Terry McLaurin. He's like, pay me. They pay him, and then he's like kind of hurt the whole year and has been terrible.
Yeah, but my thought is you were going to pay him anyway. I never had a doubt that they were going to trade Terry McLaurin. So at that point, just pay him right away. Like, what's the point of sitting around playing this waiting game? Like, oh, maybe we will, maybe we won't. And then you're going to do it anyway right before the season because you need to. Trey Hendrickson got paid. Mike ended up getting traded because he needed to get paid. TJ Watt got paid. Like, they all end up getting paid. So either just pay them or, like, put your foot in the ground and say, we are trading you and you're not playing for this team and we're waiting for you to be gone. If you don't want it, then play it out. Like, either stand your ground or just give in right away. Like, what's the point of the whole
agree.
wait?
My only real pushback is we don't know what they talked them down from. However, it's hard to imagine these guys asking for more than they actually got. But
well, they ain't. I was gonna say, if they're asking for that much and they talked them down to the offers they're given, then these agents need to get raises. My gosh, these agents are good.
it's really tough because part of me, like, I think the biggest disconnect is like, as a person who just likes watching sports, I'd be like, what's the difference between the extra $3 million? I would do it for $20 million or $15 million or $10 million or $5 million, you know?
But it's usually always guaranteed money. In the NFL, it's always guarantees.
You know, but there are just times they want to be the highest paid, blah, 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 blah. And it's more about, like, you know,
That's
that reputation.
Players Association stuff, too. That is also the
yeah, like, there's a lot of stuff like that involved. I think it's a weird dynamic between owners and players, and then the fans are kind of... I think a lot of people are now more player friendly, but I think a lot of times people are just like, I would do it for, you know, $1 million, whatever. So it's like, it's a weird trying to figure out, like, you know, who's actually right in those talks.
Yeah, no, but if they're going to pay them, pay them. If they're not, hold out. Like, just make up your mind, because this whole waiting and costing the guy the whole making the guy sits out all training camp, then comes in late, and everyone's behind the 8 ball. Just it never works out for really anybody. So occasionally the player will be fine, but you never know. All right, now we're going to a breakout player of the year. This is not going to be a guy who's holding out for any contract disputes, I doubt. But Chris, who is your breakout player of the year?
We mentioned him earlier. Jackson Smith and Jigba. It looked like Puka Nakua was going to be the best receiver this season. He keeps getting hurt, and Jason was like, "Hey, I'm here. I will catch every single ball thrown my way. Anytime Sam Darnold feels any pressure, he will chuck it my direction, and I will catch it." Right now, he's on an incredible track to be the second most yards in a season. I don't know if that's going to keep up. I kind of hope it doesn't, because you really put a damage on those guys getting them, I feel like it's great and fun to watch, but like it's hard to ask a guy to do that every week. Now Rashid Shaheed takes away, that's the deep option. Jackson Smith and Jigba has should have more room in the medium short throws. I'm excited for Jackson Smith and Jigba going forward, but he's played phenomenal up to this year. As we said, the Seahawks, one of the best teams this season. He's kind of been that fuel to their offense, and they seem like a run team, but they actually pass a ton, and their pass offense is kind of kept up while their run game has been rather inconsistent.
Yeah, Sam Darnold might get over 4,000 yards again. I mean, that's looking good. And yeah, I've been on Jackson Smith and Jigba all year, so I don't need to say much more. I love the guy. I've loved him since he was at Ohio State, scoring a bunch of touchdowns in the Rose Bowl against Utah.
Him, Garrett Wilson, and Chris Olave. My gosh.
Yeah, and then he was there with Marv. Marv was there too. They were loaded. Matt Kagbuka was there.
It would have been nice if Penn State could have gotten just one of those guys.
Yeah,
because they could not get any receiver to catch a pass for the last few years. So
I'm starting to think that might have been more schematic than talent-wise at this point, though. I'm seeing some of the
Andre Lambert Smith is in the NFL right now, and we could not get him the ball either. So
Trey Wallace is going nuts at Ole Miss right now. Could be more schematic than the talent. Yeah. My breakout guy, I think this would be a lot of people's breakout guy. It's Drake May. Drake May has been sensational for the Patriots. You're talking about people kind of didn't know because he didn't play a ton last year. When he did, it was kind of up and down. People are like, the Patriots don't have many weapons. Like this is kind of a rebuild year for them. Kind of see what they can be. Mike Vrabel build the culture, things like that. We'll give them time. Year one, I mean, they're in first place in the AFC East right now. They're ahead of Buffalo right now in the standings because they have that head-to-head win. They've been great. They got off to a slow start, 1-2, but they've won 6 straight. I mean, he's been great. He's been everything they've needed him to be. He's putting himself in position, with Jaden being in and out of the lineup all the time, that he could potentially take the throne as the best quarterback out of that draft class, which is, a big thing. Because Bo Nix, you have Drake May, you have J.J. McCarthy, who hasn't done much yet, Michael Penix, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. Like, it was a loaded draft class, and Drake May's now position himself
Tyler
to
Shuck.
potentially anyway. Well, Tyler Shuck wasn't even in that draft class.
I'm sorry. Spencer Rattler.
I was going to say, Tyler Shuck wasn't even in that draft class.
I flipped him.
But I mean, Drake May's been sensational. He's got the Patriots at a great spot, and it seems like they may have their franchise quarterback of the future. So, super excited to see what he's able to do for the rest of the year. But yep, Drake May is my breakout player of the year.
I think that's a good pick. For me, when it's like year 2, like that's a classic leap, whereas Jackson Smith and Jigba was like
year 3.
Is he only in year 3? That's it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, why do I feel like he's been in the league so long?
Yeah, he came in with Jordan Addison, Quentin Johnston. Were all and Zay Flowers. They were all back to back picks because there were no receivers, and then they all went at once.
I just like Zay Flowers and Addison have kind of like done like early on. They kind of popped, and Jackson Smith and Jigba was kind of like third fiddle to Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf.
Yeah, so he was in the 2023 draft class because he
that's
played
insane.
in 2022. Yeah,
that's actually good though. Usually, I feel like these guys are in the league forever, and but that's actually makes me feel young instead of old. But all right, I feel like you usually talk about Drake May, so it was actually nice to be on the opposite end.
All right, he might be in year 4, year 3 or 4, one of the two. I can't remember when exactly.
I'll look it up. You start our next category.
All right. Now we'll go to disappointing player. This is a guy who has struggled. I'll go first as Chris is looking up what year Jackson Smith and Jigba was drafted. Mine, this one hurts because I said he played valiantly tonight. Mine's Geno Smith. Poor Geno. He comes into, Las Vegas, and there's some expectations for him. They hire Pete Carroll. They're trying to maybe make a push in that loaded AFC West. And the one thing you were kind of really guaranteeing was this is going to be a quarterback upgrade from what they've had with Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, and they really haven't had a quarterback since Derek Carr's injuries, and then he went to New Orleans. They've been kind of doing, the Jimmy Garoppolo experiment. Like, they've just been trying to figure it out, and then they get Geno from Seattle, and it's like, okay, well, we're at least going to have consistent quarterback play. We'll be able to figure it out. He leads the league in interceptions. He's really struggled. This team, not all of it's his fault. They don't have many weapons. He just traded away his number one receiver in Jacoby Myers. Brock Bowers has been hurt. Ashton Genty, with the offensive line problems, they haven't been able to really lean on that ground game as much. But, it's just been a disappointment to see that he's really fallen off the cliff. And you're starting to really realize that when Sam Darnold's no longer the quarterback of the Seahawks, you probably should just give up on him, because the Seahawks seem to know exactly when to get rid of talent, because right when they do, the guys really start to fall off. So, they're in a really good spot there. But yeah, Geno has just been kind of disappointing, because he was a great story when he came up, took over for Russ, started playing really well in Seattle. But now, in Vegas, it has not been fun to watch Geno and that Raiders team play this year.
I agree he's been disappointing. However, I was pretty low on the Raiders because coming into the year, you tend to hear like every team tends to have like some positive spin coming out, like we're gonna do blah blah blah. Geno's gonna be better, and I think our Raiders outlook was Geno will be better than whatever quarterback they had, but they still have a ton of problems. And, that's what we've seen. Geno is playing worse than we ever expected, but I also think the team has so many problems it's not helping him at all. Genty, I think, is a very talented running back. He actually played pretty well today, especially in the first half, that once their offensive line fell apart, it was just him getting clobbered behind the line. So I think it's a little bit of a situation and also Geno's play falling off, but I don't expect too much from him compared to the guy who's my disappointment.
Well, who's your disappointment? Why are you just going to
Thank
leave
you
us
for
on
asking, Adam. My disappointment is Travis Hunter on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Travis Hunter was promised as the next Shohei Ohtani, both sides of the ball, and instead of getting this guy that could play on both ends, it's really been a guy who's, a little bit on offense and defense. He's never consistently on both. I feel like I rarely see him in the game. I think he's, on offense, he's pretty exciting when he's out there, but there are some games where it's like, you forget he's there. His only real touchdown came in that London game when they were down by 5
touchdowns. His only touchdown. That is his
only touchdown was when they were down by 5 touchdowns. Thank you, Adam. And now he's hurt, and it's like, all right, well, this whole year I was waiting for him to really make his stamp, his mark on the game, make his presence felt, and I feel like I haven't really felt it yet. And not that he's been bad, but he was supposed to be the super exciting guy the Jaguars traded up for him, and I thought, they're going to use him on both sides of the ball, and I feel like some weeks he's like barely used on defense or like not at all, and then you forget he's out there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe, and I think the Shohei kind of ruined it because Shohei pitches, and when Shohei's pitching, you see him every single pitch. You don't notice Travis Hunter if he's on the field as a corner. Some of it's just expectation, but when there's Shohei and it was like he just won the Heisman, he could do both great, and then you just a quiet season.
So I'm gonna ask you, how many Jags games have you watched this year?
Chiefs game. He made a great catch in the Chiefs game.
Yes, he did. Also played a lot of defense in the Chiefs game.
That was probably his best game.
Well, the Rams game was his best statistical game. 8 catches, 101 yards.
I don't really count it when you're down by 85. Like that 35. Chiefs game was a close one. He was making great catches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he's played a lot of defense this year, Chris. He has played a lot of defense.
Do you?
By the way, it's a little disappointing for me to hear you call him disappointing when he was coming off his best game, but now he's hurt. So that's injuries.
But that's what I mean. Is
Joe Burrow disappointing?
Well, I guess you're not counting the Raiders game last week, or
he didn't play in the Raiders game last week.
Okay, so he's coming. Okay, well that was
his last game he played was the Rams game.
Adam, that was
he hasn't
3
played
weeks
since.
ago. It's not fresh in my mind.
He hasn't played since.
If he's saying he's coming off his best game, but it was 3 weeks ago, it's not going to be fresh in my mind.
It was the Rams game, then they had the bye, and now he's on IR. So he
then
has
they
not
played
played.
The Raiders. It's been 3 weeks. It's been a long time.
I know, and he's hurt.
He just has weeks. He has weeks where you get excited, but then. And I think partially too, I think they're doing the right thing long term. It's just not what you're expecting from the number 2 pick who plays on both ends of the ball.
He's playing well. He's doing his job. They're 5 and
Yeah.
3. He makes a flash play every game. He jukes 3 guys out of their shoes every game. So like
I
it's
have
just
hope for him offensively, but he also is smaller, so he has to be careful with the hits.
yeah. Yeah, that he doesn't get hit. That's the thing. He barely gets hit. That's the fun
Yeah.
part. And he's
By
been
the
decent
way,
on defense. But
Jackson Smith and Jigba, third season.
third season, I told you, he's a baby.
His
He's a little pup.
his receptions are going to be almost the same from last year. His touchdowns might be pretty much the same, but his yards are going to be like double. He's like already almost up to last year's
Also,
yard.
another guy they got rid of, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Right on cue. How do they
mean-
know this stuff?
I mean, DK, I think, he's still good. Lockett, though, was kind of washed.
But hey, get rid of him to open it up for this kid, and it's worked out for him.
They got Horton in there. Was a first round pick, I think it was, and then Rashid Shaheed's going to be a good deep option for him. So
that it's really working out. They just know. It's weird. I mean, you wondered where Seattle was after Pete Carroll left, but it seems like they're steady and they're
even
steady.
Pete Carroll they got rid of at the right time.
I know and they got Mike McDonald, who's been really good for them. Their defense,
Speaking of ending at the right time, let's move on to the next category.
All right, play of the year, Chris. What is your play of the year? I've got 2 of them, but I'm gonna let you go first.
Oh, I definitely wrote mine in the wrong section. My play of the year was, I believe, week 7, Bucks Niners. Baker Mayfield, long. It's 3rd and long. He got hit by 2 people, somehow escapes, runs for that first down, takes another hit, reaches out, gets the first down. They go down and score, end up winning that game. That was kind of the deciding drive, the deciding play. And I think that's going to be very important for the Bucks, who have been injured all season, and every win for them counts because every week they seem to lose another guy. Bucky Irving might not play again this week. Mike Evans is probably going to miss almost all this regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Godwin is coming back every week, it seems like. It's always coming back.
I think you can tell they're bringing him in and out when they need, because they want to save him for when they need him.
Yeah, like he's kind of been ramping up, but he kind of keeps having some lingering stuff. So it's really Neo Igbuka, I love Igbuka, but he's had like 2 injured games. He got injured against the Texans, then he comes back, he's fine. They get injured against the Jets, and then, or not the Jets, he got injured, and then in that Lions game, he was like weird. It's just all this weird stuff going on with the Bucks. Every win for them matters a lot. The Falcons aren't totally terrible, and actually no, the Panthers are a bigger concern for the division, so Bucks need every win. That kind of saved that game for them.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of them losing the division, but for seeding, you want to have home field. They have a chance at the 1 seed, very, very important. So
they're not getting the 1 seed.
Right now they're tied for the 1 seed.
They're not going to get that.
I don't know. I mean, they get the NFC South schedule for the rest of the year. They get the Panthers twice. I mean,
the Panthers are 5 and what are they? 5 and 4?
Okay, I'm going to trust that the Buccaneers are going to score more than 13 points and be able to win a game. And plus, Miamek's podcast might be coming back. They did say they were holding off. On bringing it back because the team is playing well. They're not going to bring it back till they start to struggle again, because since they've taken away, the team's playing well. So they are going to win.
Right. What's your play of the year?
I've got 2 of them. First off, Chris, if something happens that has never happened in the history of the league, would you say it's impressive?
I know where you're going because I know what team you like, but yes.
Cam Little's 68-yard field goal. Would have been good from 75.
Adam, he made a 70-yarder in preseason.
Yep, so now and they didn't give him the record. Now they have to give him the record. They can't take this one away from him.
It is impressive, but to me, it's not surprising because I know he's done it.
Did I say surprise play of the year?
Well, I feel like impressive
play of the year.
Impressive would imply that I was like, oh wow.
Well, here's the thing. Here's why this could arguably be play of the year. At the end, next time someone kicks a long field goal, they'll show, here's the longest field goal in the history of the NFL, and they'll show the play. They're never showing the Baker run in the middle of a game, for the rest of the year. They're going to be like, oh, remember this?
I think the best case for this is they might just change the rule again for kickers and the footballs that they have to use and all that, where now they're going to beat the ball up a certain way they like it. And this is new. We're seeing field goals from longer and longer. If they get rid of this and they change the kickoff rules again or whatever, this could be like the juice ball era in baseball when they were having the seams. The seams were tighter, the balls were going farther, and then they were like, all right, this game starts. They had to kind of make the balls juice.
They're not going to dead.
I'm
They're
just
not gonna do
saying
a dead
they
ball
might
era.
change back to the old system of like you can't touch the
No,
footballs at all.
they're gonna keep the balls the way. They're just gonna narrow the goalposts. They're gonna go to the Canadian Football League. They're gonna make them tighter.
I'm saying like they
That's what
literally could make it harder for field goals in the future, so this could be the record for like
yeah, but
ever.
they're not gonna give them the ball and then take them. I think they're just gonna narrow them.
No,
That'd be
I'm
my
saying
guess.
like this year they're allowing them to like beat up the ball before the game
I
the way
know,
they
but
want. I
I
think they're
can
going
tell
to
you,
take that away after this year, especially with
Brandon
the
Aubrey is attempting a 70-yard field goal before the end of the
he
year.
kind of has to. I don't know how it
Yeah.
hasn't happened yet. It's kind of
Yeah.
ridiculous.
He almost attempted a 73-yarder last year against Cleveland on the
I was
road.
excited for it. That was the first time I was excited for a field goal in
Yeah.
so long because it feels like these guys are hitting them from
Would have been
deeper,
impressive because it
deeper.
would have been outdoors too. Don't know like what the wind helping like Cam Littles was inside. But my other play of the year actually is also a field goal, Chris. It's the Eagles blocked field goal to beat the Rams. It was my play
Pick
of
a
the year.
normal, fun, like skillful player. Kicking
Jordan
special
Davis running
teams.
80 yards for a touchdown is not.
That touchdown meant nothing. He should have just gone
Well,
down.
it meant nothing. Go to Vegas and ask if it meant nothing. First of all,
Okay.
it cost me an upset pick. It definitely meant something. Plus, you got to think there were two of them. I got both blocked field goals that helped them win this game because they also blocked a kick earlier in the game.
Listen, the blocked kick, that saved the game. The return for the touchdown was completely unnecessary, except for covering the spread, which
I didn't even talk the touchdown. Blocked field goal. You know why this is big? What's the Rams record?
I don't know.
What's the Eagles record?
I'm not exactly sure if they're
They have the exact same record. So tiebreaker matters here. The Eagles have the tiebreaker over them. It's a huge win right now. The Eagles are the 1 seed if the season ended today in the NFC. Like you're going back to Philly and the season's going
halfway through the season. I'm not gonna be super, into their win-loss because that could just change drastically.
But these games matter when you're talking about home field. You're talking about tiebreakers across division.
Yeah, but
that's why we thought that Bills-Ravens game in Week 1 was going to matter.
But why is this blocked field goal like that much better than the Bears blocking a field goal against the Raiders to win?
Well, because are the Bears competing for the 1 seed and going to give them a tiebreaker of an AFC
but they're
team?
fighting for a playoff spot too.
Yeah, it can. But I'm saying the Eagles beating the Rams in a big game in Philadelphia was a rematch of an NFC playoff game. These could be the top 2 teams in the NFC when the season ends. Like they're going to be right there. So it's going to be huge.
It's lame to pick 2 special teams plays.
You picked a first down run in the third quarter of a football game.
I picked a third down to get the lead.
Okay, you want actual play of the year? Travis Hunter's catch against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Devin Lloyd's 99-yard pick 6 against the Chiefs.
All Jaguars picks right there.
I mean, we could pick other ones. Derrick Henry's fumble.
Honestly, the one that I think was maybe the best of that game was Trevor Lawrence's touchdown run.
What about Derrick Henry's fumble? Completely changed the Ravens' season. They win that game. Who knows what happens?
I wouldn't say that was the play of the year.
It could. I'm talking about not just plays because, I'm talking about this is an impact the entire season on what could happen. The Ravens' season was derailed by that loss.
I'm thinking of a highlight play. I don't think
because when we end the year, we're all going to be remember that 13-yard run Baker Mayfield had for a first down. Even though the Tez Johnson play after was more impressive because Tez Johnson did a backflip.
If you go to that week's highlights, number 1 was Baker Mayfield's run.
Okay, but Tez Johnson's backflip was just as impressive.
If Tez Johnson doesn't catch it, they could still get a first down or kick a field goal or score another way. Baker kept the drive alive, which they then scored on and won the game.
But they won by 11, so they would have won by 4. They won by 11. The final score was 35-24.
That swung the game. I watched that full game, not even red zone. I watched just that game.
You watched a full football game?
I did.
Oh, boy.
I do that all the time.
That might be playing the game.
I do it all the time. Yeah. It was 30-19.
At the end of the year, we're going to be talking about plays, and we're going to look at the Eagles blocked field goal for a touchdown. I'm telling you, It's going to be on there.
Let's move on. Next one. I have 2 suggestions for categories we're going to do.
Yes, you did. Chris had 2 full suggestions, guys, and one of them was if we could undo an injury.
You made a whole list of them. I don't want to add 20 more.
You could. You could have erased some if you didn't want to do some. You were allowed.
It's okay.
All right, if we could undo an injury, which one would you like to undo?
My vote to give this person clean bill of health, pretend this injury never happened. I really wanted to see Joe Burrow in those Bengals. I really wanted to see him healthy. I wanted to see that team in a good division, especially if the Ravens got off this bad start. I want to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs again with Jamar Chase. That's exciting. They beat the Bills that one year just on their offense in the cold. They still won. I know their defense is bad, and I know the Bengals aren't going to win the Super Bowl, but one of the only teams to are they the only team besides the Patriots to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs
Well, the Bucks beat the
in
Chiefs
the
and the
AFC?
Eagles.
In the
Yeah,
AFC.
yeah, yeah.
So when you have that element to it, I want to see them in the playoffs. They have a real, like swagger to them. I thought that last year they just had such a tough season. Watching the quarterback show before the year, seeing Joe Burrow every week throw 5 touchdowns for 300 yards and lose the game, 45-44 hurt. And I thought, all right, I want to see them have a better season. And then we didn't even get like a lot. We got week 1.5 until Burrow got hurt.
Yeah, I'm gonna start calling you Mr. Inconsistency. Do you know that?
What's
Literally
wrong?
3 segments ago, you said the Bengals were disappointing because Joe Flacco scoring more points than Joe Burrow ever did. So it's not
I
like
said
it's just
we're
the Joe Burrow
disappointed because
injury.
the defense is still disgustingly terrible.
Yeah, but did you said about Joe Flacco scoring more points than Joe Burrow did?
But
So like
if Joe Burrow was their quarterback the whole year, they would have probably won some of those games that Browning lost or
they would have.
Flacco lost in the
Also,
beginning.
you said they beat the Bills on offense in that cold game in the playoffs. It was
And
21-7 was the final score of that game.
well,
And
that was the
Stephon Diggs
Bills
nearly
team.
punched a guy on the sidelines.
That was my least favorite version of the Bills team. That Bills team was meant to be in a dome. They were just like a chuck it deep team. And then after that loss, the Bills were like, all right, we're retooling. We're going for a bigger team that plays well in the cold. We're going to focus more on the run. And then it's like, oh, glad that you finally figured that out when you're in Buffalo. And now they're building a dome stadium. So,
Well, they're not building a full dome.
is it going to be open?
Fans. Yeah, they're only covering the fans. They have to keep it open. That's like one of the big things they have is a home field advantage.
I thought the field was going to be covered.
No, they're just covering the fans. It's going to be like Seattle.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Like, you want to be able to make Miami have to come up and play in the cold.
I'm going to look that up, but you give me your injury you wish to not happen.
Injury? Tyreek Hill. I would undo the Tyreek Hill injury. You know why? Because Tyreek Hill wouldn't be on the Dolphins right now if he wasn't injured.
That is a good reasoning for. I was about to kill you for that pick.
No, I wasn't going to pick him because the Dolphins season would have been differently, but Tyreek Hill would have been traded at the deadline. And it would have been interesting to see where he went. Where does he go? How does he fit in? Who makes the move? That would have been a lot of fun to see. So, yeah, Tyreek Hill.
Good pick. Yeah, the Dolphins would have been done either way. I do agree though. Like if he went back to the Chiefs, or for example, or honestly,
he went to Buffalo.
I was gonna say the Bills needed a receiver at the deadline. I think that would have been pretty cool. He could actually, win another ring. He's like the good enough receiver still that like he could swing your offense and make it have a real identity.
He could have flipped teams with AJ Brown. Because AJ could have went and put up stats, and Tyreek could have went and won. That would have been.
The Dolphins didn't mention this. Mike McDaniel's saying the whole year. We've done multiple shorts on the show talking about how Tyreek's going to be traded and Mike McDaniel's going to be fired, and it just has not happened. And they said not happening this year.
I think it's the right decision at this point. There's no reason to fire him mid-season.
Yes.
Like, there's no reason to fire him now.
Earlier this year, I would have fired him, honestly. But I guess they were going to get rid of the GM, then you have to keep the coach.
Yeah. Plus, also, he's a lame duck coach anyway. Plus, if he's as bad as you think he is, losing doesn't hurt.
Yeah, true. So. I think he kind of got the memo on that. I like your pick a lot. I think it was creative. Now, fantasy football killer, based on their draft position, like who did you take, towards the top that's really underperformed their value? And we're excluding injuries because that's just not going to be fair. Like, obviously, it hurts your team when Malik Neighbors gets hurt, but it's not really something he can control. Adam, I'll let you go first.
All right. So my guy is, in my mind, the worst type of fantasy players has. You know what that is? A guy who booms like once or twice, and then he's bad every other week.
And then you start him every time he busts, and whatever.
Yep, and then when you take him out, he goes nuts. That's why I got AJ Brown. AJ Brown has just been frustrating. You could say he's hurt, but he just got hurt. He's only missed one game. But it's been boring. Yeah, tough. Then Vikings game, spike. Rams game, spike. Everything else is below 8 points. It's almost impossible to start him because you're basically throwing away a roster spot every week in your starting lineup. So it's like, can you pull him out? Of course, you pull him out in the game, he goes nuts, and then you're like, oh, so now I got to leave him in there, and then he struggles again. So it's just frustrating. I think he was around like the 17th pick in most people's drafts. You're talking first, second round pick, so you kind of want to hit on those guys. And yeah, so AJ Brown, I'm sure, has been very frustrating for people to deal with, especially because Devontae Smith's really started to get going, and Jahan Dotson and Dallas Goedert's been going nuts all year long, so it's been even more frustrating.
Is that boomer bust guy, and it's annoying. But this year it's been more AJ. I think AJ and this one other guy, were my top two like receivers that just you can't really get a read on. I had Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas Jr. last year, Adam, won me a league. He was
Yeah, he
phenomenal
was
at the end of
great.
last year. You had all this high hopes. Then going into this year, just rough start. The vibes were bad. Jacksonville could really just figure out their offense with it in the past game. There were a
They
lot of
still haven't
drops.
figured it out. They still haven't
They still
figured it out.
haven't.
They
But
still.
then, honestly, Brian Thomas was starting to look good. Then he got hurt. And then now, you're not going to, I'm not gonna including his being hurt, but it was, you have him. You think you have this young guy who should be getting better in year two, and instead he kind of took a step back, seemed uncomfortable in the middle of the field getting hit, and just the vibes were bad. Did not like it. And then he kind of was starting to come back. It wasn't terrible. Like AJ Brown does have more duds, but I wanted to mention him. My main pick, though, this guy I had in two leagues. One league, it didn't really matter. This other league, every single week he kills me, and he's really taking the cake after last week's performance. Trevion Henderson has caused me more pain than any other player in the NFL. Ramondre Stevenson fumbles the ball almost every game, and they still will not give Trevion Henderson opportunities because he has not really taken advantage of the limited ones that he's had. Antonio Gibson started the year looking way better than Trevion Henderson. He was the clear running back 2. Henderson was the 3.
Mhm.
Gibson's hurt for the year. Ramondre gets hurt going into last week, and you're like, all right, he has to be the wide receiver, the running back 1. He has to be the running back 1. And Mike Vrabel is like, nope, this backup Jennings is going to get the goal line work, and he's going to actually be the one that pops when you're watching the game. He's going to be more noticeable than Trevion Henderson, who was okay. What did he get, like 10 or 12 points or something last week?
He had
That's
14 carries for 55 yards and 4 catches for 32 yards. So he had 18 touches. Led the team in touches.
like that's not terrible, but he was a second round pick out of Ohio State as the running back, and he's getting passed by their fourth string running back Jennings, and Antonio Gibson passed him, and Ramondre Stevenson fumbles more than anyone, and they trust him more than Henderson. It's terrible. It's so frustrating because every week I want to cut him, but there's some injury where I'm like, this could be the week he pops off against the Titans. I'm like, well, they're gonna kill the Titans, and naturally they're gonna give him some go, and he'll get some opportunities. And they put Jennings in over him. It's just you have been unable to predict it. And I drafted him in like maybe like the third or fourth round in one league. And every single week it kills me and it hurts me and I hate it.
I will say, I mean, Terrell Jennings got 1 goal line carry. I think they were only at the goal line once.
And he's the one that got the ball. It's the
Yes,
principle.
but Trevion Henderson was running back 1 last week, and he
But
played
it's the
like running back
principle of
1.
like, oh, we got in the red zone. Let's get this rookie running back the ball. Instead, they're like, put Jennings and let him. And then in the one touch he gets, he scores, whereas Trevion can't do that. So
Well, let's look. Let's look at,
and
Adam, the build
Adam,
for these
I would like
guys.
to clarify. I'm not just blaming the Patriots for how they're using him. Trevion Henderson is not playing well. So I understand why they're not giving the ball more, but it's also like you should give him more opportunities.
Well, Terrell Jennings is 2 inches taller and 15 pounds heavier, so it would make sense for him to be the goal line back.
Adam, that's true if he was like the 1, 2, or even third string running back. He's the 4th string running back. It shouldn't matter at that point.
Well, yeah, but you got to think if Trevion's never been the goal line back, but he never practices it, so that if you have Terrell Jennings come in, he can just do the goal line stuff.
He scored 1 touchdown this year, and
also he was not the short yardage back at Ohio State either. He was arguably the second back at Ohio State.
He was. Judkins went ahead of him. Yeah. Now we easily see why, but Henderson also too was frustrating. His first touch in the preseason was a touchdown on a kickoff return.
Yeah.
Where has that explosiveness been all season?
One
of the most misleading preseasons I've ever seen in my history, and every week it's a super deep league. You can't pick anyone up off waivers because it's 14 teams and like super deep roster spots, and all of these running backs are just.
You gotta believe in him, man. He's coming off a good week. Just 18 touches, 87 yards.
And he what did he put up? 14 points?
Well, let's look. 55 yards, that's 5.5. 4 catches, 9.5. 32 yards. You're talking about 13 points. Yeah.
Sure. Nice job. All right. Last category here. Coach of the year.
Where was he getting drafted in your league?
Well, in this league, we literally had Chase Brown go in the first round because all the running backs were in the
Okay,
first round.
so that was a league specific. There's no way he was going before like the 30 picks. Like,
No, but in this league, it's 14 teams, and then it was the third or fourth round. So it was in the 30s or 40s, and then I
14
remember
teams,
being like,
third
listen,
round. You're talking 40s.
I looked at that draft board in hindsight. I don't think there was any possible way to get two running backs because they all went in the
Well,
first round.
also, if that's our philosophy here for fantasy football killer, then I'd like to add Chuba Hubbard to it. Because
Chuba Hubbard has been so much better than Travion Henderson when he's playing.
Hubbard's averaging 10 points a game, and now he's lost all his carries. He's
Yeah,
driving
Chuba
the
Hubbard.
pine now.
Chuba Hubbard has been better than Travion Henderson though when he's played.
Okay, but who's going to play more now, Travion Henderson or Chuba Hubbard?
Who was drafted? I don't think Chuba was drafted that much higher than Travion.
Yeah, but Chuba Hubbard, I would think his ADP was like 32. So like
Travion, by the time the season started, there was so much preseason hype. He was up there.
Yeah, but imagine you having Chuba Hubbard sitting there right now. You're like, oh. Travion Henderson, there's some excitement. He's now running back one. Chuba Hubbard's down just riding the pine for Rico Dowdle.
There's not, because even as running back one, he finally broke 10
points. In a 14-person league, you should be happy with 13 points from your running back.
No.
First of all, if everyone's drafting running backs, you draft receivers. You get smart, but...
Adam, I've looked at that board. I took Genty. I had to take him. If I did not take a running back in the first... So I got Amon-Ra in round 2, which was crazy. In round 3, every running back was gone. Every single one.
That's when you wait. That's when you wait, and you draft the backups.
Who do I take as my second running back?
You draft the backups.
I can't have my running back 2 be a backup.
Zach Charbonnet. Tyler Algier always ends up getting touches.
You should buy the upside of Henderson was going to be as a second-round pick.
R.J. Harvey.
He wouldn't get touches.
J.K. Dobbins.
Harvey has done nothing, and he was taken before Henderson.
Yeah, he had like 5 catches tonight, though.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying. If everyone else is buying running backs, you go all in on receiver.
I don't need to because I have a Buka and Amon-Ra St. Brown. The rest of the team is great.
I'm talking about your draft philosophy.
No, you need to take one running back in the first 2 rounds.
Well, yes, but you took Ashton Genty. So why do you take 2 running backs?
You need 2 running backs on your roster, Adam. You can't have one running back. That's
you need 2.
Slot.
I know
Tyler Algier's 1 point a game doesn't do anything.
Imagine everyone else took running backs, so you end up with the 3 of the 10 best receivers in the league. It's just...
I took Amon-Ra because that was fall, and then I knew I was getting Buka later, so I didn't need to pick another receiver.
Yeah, but you could have got, like, Devontae Adams.
Buka has been better than Devontae points per game.
Devontae had 3 touchdowns last week.
Okay, Buka was on a bye.
I mean, Devontae's been pretty good the last 2 weeks. They had 5 touchdowns the last 2 weeks.
Devontae in the 3rd or Buka in the 6th. I'd rather have Buka in the 6th. That's more value.
Yeah, but then you have Travion Henderson. We have Travion Henderson or Devontae Adams.
If Henderson was good, I'd have 2 good running backs.
See, now you're just complaining about Travion Henderson. That's all you. It's not Travion's fault. You could have drafted Devontae Adams.
I'm complaining about the player.
Why did you draft Ramondre Stevenson?
Because Ramondre fumbles all the time. He's the older back, and I thought Travion looked explosive. They've been using him really well.
Could have drafted a Marion Hampton.
I could not have. He was gone in the early 3rd round.
Yeah, this sounds like your problem, man. It doesn't sound like Travion Henderson's problem.
Adam, obviously, that's of every fantasy football. It's our problem, but we have to take these guys somewhere.
Well, you're complaining about Travion. You're made it seem personal. He does not suck.
Adam, Travion Henderson has been bad. He has not blocked anyone.
He's a rookie that just had 14 carries for 55 yards and had 4 catches for 32 yards on a team that's 17. Yes, that is a good game for a rookie who's been the 3rd string running back. Whether you draft him or not, he's doing what he's doing.
He wasn't supposed to be the 3rd string. He was a 2nd round running back.
Okay, but if he wasn't the 3rd string, then maybe he would have been better. But he's not. He's doing what he's doing.
He runs 3 yards into his own line and then falls down. That's not good. He's not a good season. You're insane if you think he's having a good season.
I'm not saying he's having a good season. I'm saying he's a rookie. Let the kid grow a little bit.
Okay, Quinton Judkins has looked way better. Marion Hampton looked way better.
Okay, is Quinton Judkins RB1?
Harvey is better. Every single other rookie running back has been better than Travion Henderson.
Okay, but I'm saying it's not Travion Henderson's learning on the job. He's now getting an opportunity.
He's by far the worst. He deserves
Harvey was running back too. Chris, he's just doing it. Just because you drafted him high, it's not being Travion Henderson. The Patriots are at fault here. Doesn't mean he sucks. Like, there's other running backs that are a lot worse than him.
It means he sucks.
Chris, it does
He
not.
has been bad at football.
Okay, so you're saying this guy is going to be the worst running back in the league for the next 5 years? Because he's
No,
going to play in
I
the
am
next 5
saying
years.
this guy had all this hype. He was supposed to be
Who
good.
hyped him? You hyped him. Travion Henderson said
Everyone
nothing.
hyped him, Adam. That's fantasy football. That's
Okay,
the
but
point.
did Travion Henderson ever come out
If
and say,
Josh
man, I feel
Allen
like I'm
is
going to be
bad in
great?
fantasy football, it's not my fault for drafting Josh Allen.
Well, no, but you have proof on him just because you're hearing stuff talk about it. Watch the tape. You watch him take one kick for a touchdown, which wouldn't give you any points in fantasy anyway. And you
Yes,
thought
it
that
would. It would give you a touchdown. Yes,
okay,
it
you get one
would.
touchdown, you get 6 points.
Yes.
Congratulations.
That's more touchdowns than it's as many touchdowns he had in that one place he had all season.
Okay. But
He's been bad at football, Adam. People
okay,
take
so if
rookies.
he's good the rest of the year, are you going to come back on here and say he still sucks?
No, because he's going to be playing better, but he hasn't played good all season.
Okay, but he's not a killer yet. He's a rookie who's just getting his opportunity now.
He's killed you for 9 weeks. The Raiders
okay.
over in 4
Guess
weeks.
what? Travis Hunter was hyped up, but look at this.
No
This is how
one
it
was
is.
But Travis Hunter, you knew in fantasy wouldn't be good because he's what side was he going to be on? Offense, defense? Didn't know. Travion
I
Henderson was
just don't like that
supposed
you're
to be.
saying he sucks. He's not a horrible running back.
Yes, he has been. He has been,
but
for
he's
9
not
weeks.
horrible. He's just getting an opportunity. He is not horrible.
He
There
is
are a lot of
currently
players worse
horrible.
than him. There are a lot of
He
players that are
is
worse than him.
currently
He's
horrible.
better than Will Shipley, who's the running back for the Eagles. Like,
Statistically, they're similar until this last week. Henderson has quadrupled.
because he's finally the starter. He just got starting reps.
He was supposed to take over as the starter. He was a highly touted prospect, one of the top running backs in the draft.
Look, I'm not saying
bad.
he has been great, but he can be good. You can't just say he sucks. He's a horrible
He
player.
currently sucks at football. He should be getting better at football, but he's currently bad at football.
Okay. You're
For
fine.
an NFL running back,
You could have drafted
he
Rachaad
is-
White. You could have drafted Rachaad White.
I
Yeah, he
did
was there.
rounds and rounds later because he's a backup. But Ramondre,
So then you could have just not taken
Ramondre
Travion
was on
Henderson.
the
This is a
decline.
you problem.
Adam, obviously it's a me problem when I drafted, but that's every fantasy football team. Your
I
team
know,
is
but
your
I know a lot of people
problem.
that didn't draft him. He went
Do
undrafted
you
in one of
think
my
Travion
leagues.
Henderson is pleased with this season so far?
No, I don't
No,
think anyone
that's
would
my
be.
point. He sucks this year. He hasn't.
He
been
does.
good.
I don't like when people use the word "sucks" because, like, that's just
Okay,
He's a
he
good
has
football
not
player.
played well statistically.
Yes, there you go.
Or
He's a
not
good
even
football
statistically.
player.
He has not even looked good on the field.
Yeah, but he is a good football player. Like, if he,
He is
wasn't a
not
good,
currently playing good football in the NFL.
okay,
and he
there
has
you go.
not
But
for
you said he
10 weeks.
sucks. He does not suck. If he,
He
sucks,
has
he wouldn't have
sucked.
been in the league. If he sucks, he's not in the league. He's in the
Okay.
league.
Compared to other players in the league, he sucks.
Yes, compared to third string running backs, he's about where he's supposed to be.
He
'Cause that's
wasn't
what he
supposed
is.
to be on third string. He was
They had
supposed
Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson who were proven running
He was
backs.
supposed to be the second string that could take over because Ramondre wasn't looking great the last few years and fumbles all
Yes.
the time.
And it's been slightly disappointing. So they said, we're going to take it slow with him. That's still like...
It has been more than slightly disappointing. He has been bad. He has been
But he's
unable
coming
to
off a
block.
good game. He played good last week.
One good week, Adam, and it wasn't even that
It was
good.
his first week as a starter. So yeah, I think you can be okay with that. He's getting better.
He's had 9 weeks. He's
He
had
did,
9
but
weeks.
one game as a starter.
8 weeks. He was running back 2 or 3, and he got passed by Gibson. When you take a running back in the second round, you're not drafting a third string running back.
This is why I hate fantasy football. This is why I absolutely despise fantasy football. Because it blinds people on just watching actual football.
I've watched the actual football games.
No,
I'm
but I'm
telling
saying
you,
that
he's
anyone
bad.
who's watching actual football aren't going to say, man, Travion Henderson sucks. They'll be like, he's a rookie. He's not playing much. It is what it is.
I
We'll
would
keep moving.
say-
We'll see what happens.
Fine. He looks bad. He's looking like a bust at the
He's
running
been
back position.
disappointing, but he's a rookie. We're going to let him grow.
Adam,
Or it's not going to be
his
he sucks because
peers-
I drafted him 32nd
His
overall in my
peers
fantasy
are all
draft.
better than him. Anyone taken around him or slightly behind him. Scadaboo, Harvey, Hampton, Judkins, all of which are having, or were when they were healthy, were having great rookie seasons.
Well,
running
great
back-
rookie seasons is a little far for a guy like R.J. Harvey.
He scored
Great.
3 touchdowns the other week and a touchdown last week. That's 4
Yes, but
touchdowns.
great.
That's 3 more than
Yes,
Then-
in a fantasy world, but he's got like 200 yards total. Like,
Yeah, and here's the
He's
thing,
running-
though. He was clearly he was listed as 5th on the depth chart. You knew that going into the year.
yeah.
Henderson was supposed to be 2nd. And
Yes,
Harvey is clearly 2nd, and each week gets more.
Yes, but I think the
Henderson gets
Patriots
less
are
and less
okay. They're
each
not.
week
The
if there's
Patriots
guys ahead of them.
the Patriots are not giving up on Travion Henderson today. They'll be like, we're done. But it's just
They're
this
gonna
was a
say
complete.
Jennings looks better than him.
But he doesn't. Travion
He
Henderson played a better game last week than Jennings did.
Jennings against the Titans was getting a hug from Vrabel, looking like it was his son on the field. He was so happy.
Okay, against the Falcons, who had more yards? Who had more touches? Who had more yards per carry? Yes. So, like,
But it wasn't like he was great.
I didn't say he was great. I'm saying he's a rookie running back.
Yards.
What happened to giving rookies time to grow? Whatever happened to giving rookies time to grow?
What happened is the other rookies are good.
Not all of them. They're not all great. I'm telling you now, the Raiders might be sitting here saying, Genty at 6, when we could have got Scadaboo in the 4th round and maybe draft someone else at 6. They'd probably think about it. Like, everyone probably thinks like that.
I think the Patriots would very happily have.
I think they would absolutely rather have another guy. But I'm sure they're not saying, yep, we got to get rid of him. Might as well cut him now, cut our losses, and get someone new.
For fantasy football, which we're talking about, Travion Henderson who was going like the 4th round. You need a hit on your first 4 picks. He has been a miss every single week. Last week was his best week, and it took week 9.
Yeah.
And his best week was 12 points.
Yeah.
13 points.
Mm-hmm. But
that's why he's a fantasy killer.
But you could have given up on him quick and said, you know what, this isn't working. Let's go get Rico Dowdle. Let's go get Kamani Vidal. I doubt those guys got drafted in your league.
But you have to immediately jump on those guys when they're available.
Yeah.
And guess what? I did.
You jumped on Bill Krosky Martin?
I got Jenkins and Henderson. Bye Henderson.
So then why are you still complaining about Travion Henderson?
In another league, I don't have Judkins. I just have Henderson. It's a super deep league, and it's annoying.
You could have went for Bill Krosky Martin. Could have went for him.
He has been terrible as well. He's had 2 good fantasy weeks.
Apparently that's good enough. It's better than Travion Henderson.
It is better than Travion Henderson. That's the sad thing.
You guys think all these guys suck. It's just sad. I got Bucky Irving. It's been really disappointing for me. I drafted Bucky Irving high. It sucked.
Well, he's gotten hurt.
Yeah, that's worse than sometimes. At least I'm getting some points from these guys.
No, if
Bucky's
he's
not
hurt,
playing.
at least you could put in like someone else because you know they're going to get you 0. Henderson gives you hope against the Titans. He would take over garbage
after week 1, week 2, wouldn't you have thought, okay, if he's weak running back 3, might as well go get someone new?
Sometimes you can't get someone else better if they're not available. This league's super deep, Adam. I can't pick up a good running back in week 3.
You just guess on who's going to get hurt next. That's how it works.
And if you don't guess an injury, you're screwed.
Yeah,
all right.
But that's what you got to do. That's fantasy football.
Rashad White's 3 points a game instead. All right. Upset of the week, Adam. I cheated.
Whoa. Coach of the year is Mike Vrabel, by the way.
Oh, sorry. I like Mike Vrabel. My issue with him is just like...
Don't play Travion Henderson enough?
No. Here's the thing. I don't blame the Patriots. Henderson has been bad. I think their schedule is really easy. So I think he's done a great job. He'd be my pick, but I also don't want to copy you. But also, I think Shane Steichen... I think if the Colts win the 1 seed, it should be Shane Steichen. If the Colts don't win the 1 seed and the Patriots make the playoffs, I would do Mike Vrabel.
Yep, I got Mike Vrabel. Shane Steichen's a good pick, though.
Upset of the week, I cheated because I looked at yours because I wanted to pick one, and I thought Adam definitely picked them. So then I had to find a different one. But
Did I pick it?
Yeah.
You're not allowed to pick this team anyway, so it was actually, you're kind of not allowed. You don't like this team. So I'm taking the Eagles on Monday night. Eagles are taking on the Packers. 2.5-point dogs are the Birds. Nick Sirianni, 4-0 off the bye. 5-0 if you count that 42-7 drubbing of Chris's beloved Daniel Jones and the Giants in the playoffs. Eagles last year after the bye, they went 15-1, and their only loss came to the Commanders when Jalen Hurts got concussed, and they were on their way to the Super Bowl. The Packers, been inconsistent all year. They're coming off that loss to the Meow Mix legends of the Carolina Panthers. And they're trying to bounce back at home in Lambeau. The weather's going to be ugly, so could be a run game. Saquon, pretty good in the snow. But lastly, this could be an AJ Brown boom game. AJ Brown ain't going anywhere, guys. He's stuck now. The trade talk's going to be over. Trade deadline's over with. So maybe it's time for them to lock in, kind of find a ways to get him the ball. It's kind of like, we're married for the rest of the year. Might as well make the best of it. So could be an AJ Brown big game. Give me the Birds to upset the Packers. Plus sneaky Jair Alexander revenge game.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What's funny is we're talking about how AJ Brown's a killer because every time you buy into him, he kind of puts up a dud. That exactly what we're talking about is why he does kill you because can't predict it when he's actually gonna be good.
I'm telling you,
Um,
this week's the week. I buy into him. I don't have him in any leagues, but I buy into him.
I think the Eagles should never be the underdog. Honestly, this season, the Packers just lost to the Panthers. We saw them lose to the
They're
Browns.
gonna be dogs twice the rest of the year. Twice. This game and then the Bills game at the end of the year in Buffalo. They'll be
That's
an underdog.
fine. But how are you the underdog to a Packers team that coming off a bad loss? And the Packers don't come off a bad loss and really show out. When they lost to the Browns the next week, they followed up with a tie to Dallas. They've been so inconsistent, and they were at home against Carolina and they still lost. So I don't believe this Packers thing. They could play up or down to anyone, but I think the Eagles are a real Super Bowl contender. I don't think the Packers are. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers won, but the fact that they're the favorite is kind of crazy. But my upset pick, I'm going with the team, same spread. The Bucks are currently favored to be the Patriots by 2.5. I think that should be just a mistake. I would have thought it would be the Patriots were the favorite. Patriots have all this momentum right now. Drake May is looking great, throwing one of the best deep balls in the league. They have a bunch of guys who've been, great getting deep options. Maybe Kayshon Boutte comes back. You have Demario Douglas. Stephon Diggs, honestly, on third downs is good and key moments, but he's kind of
really good. Really good.
He's on a snap count. It's kind of weird, but when they need him, he's there. And they just get it done every week. Hunter Henry every week is just so consistent. And running back wise, they have so many options. Traven Henderson's been great for them as a rookie.
Yeah.
And then
just hate on him for an hour. Yeah,
that Jennings kid is phenomenal. The fourth stringer.
Oh, by the way, just want you to know, Sketch said that we have no way of knowing, which is what I was trying to tell you if Travion Henderson sucks at football. We have no way of knowing, so there you go.
I'll ask the question.
You said, does he suck at football? And Sketch said we have no way of knowing.
Has he been a fantasy football killer?
Well, because you drafted him in the 4th round. Again, that's your fault. That's not anyone else's fault. He's an okay football player. He's getting an opportunity. You could have read the tea leaves in New England world. You could have been burning the all 22. I was
reading that they seem to like him, but
they do like him.
I think the Patriots should be the favorite. I'm kind of confused. The Bucks still have injuries all over.
Home field means nothing to you, does it?
Huh?
Home field means nothing to you, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. That's why they're favored, right?
So home field to me is usually, if I don't know, I will just guess with the home field team. But if I think a team is genuinely better, I just stick with that team.
Man, you said the Patriots haven't beat anybody. Now you're out here saying they're going to beat the Bucks.
I think they're good. We'll see this week.
Even though the Patriots did beat the Bills. I was a little upset when you said Mike Vrabel's had an easy schedule. Did beat the Bills.
He has had an easy schedule. He said that was their toughest game.
Yeah,
by far.
Winning in Buffalo, not easy. They're the only team
that was an
done
incredible win.
So they're the only.
Who else have they beaten?
They beat the Falcons last week.
They beat the Falcons by 1 because they missed an extra point. And the Falcons are not that good.
Their losses are to the Raiders and the Steelers.
Those are both bad losses.
Those are bad losses. You are right. They beat the Panthers 5-14. They blew out the Panthers. They annihilated the Panthers.
Good.
The game wasn't close. Who else have they played this year? Oh, trying to find it. They beat the Bills, as we've already said. Oh, who else have they beat? They beat the Saints. Big win. Spencer Rattler was the quarterback. They beat the Titans. Big win. Cam Ward's really good. They've beaten the Browns. Big win. Dylan Gabriel. They smacked them around. Dylan Gabriel's a great quarterback. Myles Garrett had 5 sacks in that game, by the way. And then they beat the Falcons. So.
By the way, Sketch said we can't know because the Patriots don't play him.
Exactly.
That was Sketch's reason, but they played him last week, so,
And he played okay at 13 points, which is a solid week for a running back. If a running back averages 13 points, you'll be happy.
I wouldn't be happy, but...
I'd be okay with it. If I have a running back that averages 13...
It would not be a killer.
No, it would not. So there you go.
We'll see. It's definitely not great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you for being upset that he hasn't been the
starter.
Also,
that was his best game was 13. He's not averaging it.
Well, yes, but as a starter, he's averaging 13. First game as a starter. First game as a... I'm not blaming you for being upset. I'm just saying give him some time, man. He's a rookie.
If it was a dynasty league, okay, but in a one-season league,
that's your
listen,
fault for drafting
rookie
him.
running backs do pop and go crazy many times.
It hasn't really happened this year, though. We haven't seen many pop.
We've seen many be really good.
But Amari Hampton's barely played.
Hampton was great when he was playing. After week 2,
like 3 games.
No, week 2, Najee Harris got hurt. Then Hampton became a star for like 3 weeks. He was phenomenal.
And he got hurt.
Then he got hurt. But that was because the Chargers' offensive line completely fell apart as well.
RJ Harvey's still running back, too. He had a pop game, but, like, he's still running back, too. Like, no one's really popped. We haven't seen the, Bijan Robinson,
Jameer popping.
Yeah, we haven't seen the Bijan Robinson, Jameer Gibbs. Like, we haven't seen that.
Gibbs, though, came along late. Bijan, they just decided to use Algier more than him.
Devon A-Chain had a great rookie year, too.
Yeah, he came along. He just got hurt, I think.
Yeah, he did. But, yeah, like, we haven't seen the rookie, like, true, like, rookie, like, oh my gosh, this guy's the next great running back yet. Genty could be, but systemically. All right, now we'll go into picks. Chris, let's make this quick. We've been going a while.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
this is the most part I've ever been for a podcast, and we talked 20 minutes about stupid Travion Henderson.
You could have stopped it at any point if you wanted. Falcons, Colts. I got the Colts, Chris. Who do you got?
I also have the Colts.
I'm a little worried, though. I'm slightly worried. Sauce Gardner, second game overseas. Could be an interesting one.
We'll see if he even plays, no?
Yeah, he has a concussion, I saw.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to play him first week is going to be in Germany.
I wouldn't have even traveled him, to be honest. I would have let him stay in the States and waited.
I agree.
Browns, Jets. This is a tough game to pick here, Chris. Who do you got?
Give me the Browns. It'd be a really funny Jets thing to do to win this week, but no, give me the Browns. They had that great win against the Bengals, so I think they're riding high.
I got the Browns as well. Trust in the defense there. Plus, Jets sold the defense, so could be able to run the ball against them. Jags, Texans. Chris, I'm going to take the Jags. I'll trust my boys here against Davis Mills and the Texans. On the road, though, division could be an opportunity just for the Texans to split it.
I thought CJ was building some momentum, and then he gets hurt. And now it's Davis Mills. Give me the Jags as well.
Oh, wow. Taking the Jags to sweep. I like it. Bills, Dolphins. Chris's favorite team in Miami taking on Buffalo. I'll take the Bills.
Bills by 50.
If they don't win by 50, does that mean you get the game wrong?
No.
Oh, man. All right. Patriots at Bucks.
If you win by 50, though, I just automatically get like 5 extra points.
No. Patriots at Bucks. Chris is taking the Patriots. I'll roll with my boys. My Super Bowl pick out of the NFC. I'm still riding with them. I'm not going to back off them. I'll take the Bucks here at home. Giants, Bears. Giants looked frisky against the Niners last week, Chris.
I keep talking myself into the Giants, but I'm just going to play it safe. Give me the Bears.
By the way, lucky for you, Cowboys are not on the roster, so I won't be able to talk you into taking the Cowboys.
Thank God. Well, also so the Cowboys really messed me up. But last week we picked the Bears. I don't know, did you pick the Bears or no?
No, I took the Bengals. You took the Bears.
Yeah, and then they won. Colson Loveland has been like unremarkable for 8 weeks. And then that one, I mean, he had a good week because a lot of the receivers are banged up. But that play at the end, now it's like, oh, this is why they took him above Tyler Warren. No. That one play does not excuse taking him over Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Tyler Warren has had 9 good weeks. Loveland has had 1 very good week. I'm not listening to this.
I love that your reasoning for them having a big week was that some of the receivers were out. They scored 47 points, so there was a lot of balls to go around.
The Bengals defense. What do you think was going to happen?
Roman Dunze had no catches.
That's actually the most impressive thing is you score 42 points and you don't get your
best receiver for the year did nothing
against the Bengals. They don't have.
It was wild.
They don't
DJ
have
Moore had a good game. DJ Moore had a good game.
It's terrible.
Ravens, Vikings. Ravens long week taking on the Vikings, coming off a big win against the Lions. Chris.
Ravens. Lamar's back. Trust in Lamar.
I'll take the Ravens as well here against the Vikings. It's been up and down for the Vikings all year, so I'm not going to trust them. Plus, the Vikings defense, not a lot of faith in them. Saints, Panthers. Chris, I'm riding with my Meow Mix boys all day. Chris, this is a franchise. You said that the Bryce Young was the worst starting quarterback in the NFL once upon a time. Do you still believe that?
Did I say it was the worst?
Yeah, you said he was the worst starting quarterback in the league.
I remember saying he was the worst. I remember saying Rattler was.
Because I said I thought Yeah, I mean, you were convinced that Spencer Rattler was better than Bryce Young. That was the whole conversation. Now
There was
Spencer
a
Rattler,
small few week stretch where Rattler was playing well, then that went away very quickly.
yeah,
Tyler Shuck
Rattler's.
is now clearly the worst. I think if it was Rattler, I might pick the Saints, but with Shuck, no way. Give me the Panthers.
Wow, Saints fan taking the Panthers to beat his team. Down
Tyler
bad,
Shuck really has me
down,
questioning just like the quarterback position.
down bad. Seahawks, Cardinals. Seahawks at home. Jacoby Brissett, the full-time starter. Kyler Murray goes on IR. Perfect timing for Kyler Murray to go on IR. The Call of Duty comes out next week, so perfect time.
Yeah, no,
Sure.
I told you like a few weeks ago I was out on the Cardinals and Kyler. I actually like Jacoby and the Cardinals, but gave me the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks as well. Coming off a win, though. Oh, this one's tough. Lions at Commanders.
Lions by 50.
They don't win by 50, you give them the point back?
Nope.
How about if one of those two teams actually win by 50 or more points? I'll give you a bonus point.
Sure.
I'll give you both. All right, if they both win by 50, I'll give you 3 bonus points.
Awesome.
All right,
the Lions might, because the Lions honestly have been kind of lately. Lost
Unless
two.
They got a bad taste in their mouth. They got a really bad taste.
Yeah, they might just genuinely just run up the board.
Yep. I'm taking the Lions as well. Rams, Niners in San Francisco. Niners beat the Rams earlier this year in SoFi.
Give me the Rams. I don't want to do. Every time I pick against the Niners win. Anytime I pick the Niners lose.
Becoming really boring, Chris. I'm taking the Rams. All right, Steelers, Chargers.
And it's up to you.
Steelers, Chargers, and SoFi. My picks were done before the week. I don't change them. Steelers, Chargers. Chris, who do you got and why? In SoFi. Steelers coming off the win.
I'm never going to take Aaron Rodgers. I just hate him. Give me the Chargers.
There we go. We'll have some. Almost took this as my upset pick. I'm taking the Steelers here out in SoFi. Talk about Steelers home game. Steelers fans are everywhere. Chargers got no fans. There'll be a lot of fans making that trip.
They do
out
have
to
no
LA.
fans. It will be a home game for the Steelers.
Yep. Lastly, Monday Night Football. Eagles, Packers. Taking my birds here in this one. Chris, who do you got?
As I said, I could see either team winning. I think the Eagles should be the favorite. I'm going to take the Eagles. I think it could go either way. But I'm surprised that the line was in the Eagles' favor.
There we go. So basically, it's kind of chalk this week, Chris, which doesn't help you as being 4 games back, but kind of chalk. Our flip games, but I got the Bucks, you got the Pats. I got the... Yeah, and it's just the Steelers and Chargers.
You had... Oh, because I also took your upset pick. I just didn't pick that.
Yeah, you also took the Birds, and you took the Jags, which of course is my penciled in pick every week. So.
Yeah.
I almost didn't take them this week. If C.J. Stroud was playing, I probably would have took the Texans.
I would have also taken C.J. Stroud.
Well, then I would have took the Jags, so just have continuity. But Davis Mills. I would not be shocked if the Texans win that game, though. Not be surprised at all.
It would be like a 13-10 game.
The last game was 17-10. So I mean,
it would be a low scoring game. I think their defense is. I think their defense is the best defense overall in the league. It's just a matter of the other team's offense is always on the field.
Yeah, we'll say that first game, the Texans did nothing offensively till Trevor threw the pick. Once he threw the pick, that's when they got the big touchdown to Nico Collins. So yeah, it was tough sledding for them that first matchup. But that is going to do it. Chris, you got anything you want to say? You want to continue to complain about Travion Henderson not helping your fantasy team out?
I would like to go to sleep now. The Super Broncos never want to end a game early. You have to keep it to the very end.
Yeah, well, Chris, I told you right before that game started, we ain't recording early today because this game ain't ending anytime soon. So
I hate them.
Yeah, I'm not going to say hate's a strong word. They're frustrating. They're very frustrating. You hate them more than you hate the Eagles?
Right now, I do.
I would say because they might be worse than the Eagles for you because they play some really boring games, at least for 3 quarters.
The Eagles frustrate me on a team sense. The Broncos just frustrate me on a recording after the game sense.
Yeah.
Very different.
We rarely record. Surprisingly, not many nationally televised games for the Broncos.
No, I know. I'm saying in this moment, if the Broncos did this every week, it'd bother me more. But
yeah. Not many nationally televised games for Denver. Should have a couple coming up. They're getting good.
Let's pull the Seahawks and get out of here.
So boring. All right. That is going to do it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Go check out all our social content on TikTok, Instagram, or here on YouTube Shorts. For my partner, Chris Reynolds, I am Adam Sheets, and thank you for listening.